Thanks for tuning in to another episode of All Things Entrepreneur. We are a group of entrepreneurs who all got our start in real estate wholesaling and parlayed that success into multi-million-dollar business. It's your girl, it's Jessica Myers, the deal maker.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl Mo Hustle, the she builder.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, it's the Grand Guy, the influencer.
I am Superstar Shauna with
DC John.
And together we are Flippin' Love.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Errol J. Allen.
It's time to get ate.
All things entrepreneur. It gets tough, but you gotta stick to it. Nah, don't talk about it.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode. If you've been tuning in, you've been getting a lot of gems from these fire-ass entrepreneurs. Yes. I mean, it's just been crazy, the conversations and just where we are. Because a lot of times when you think about real estate, a lot of people's like, oh, it's a looming crash coming. It's the end of the world, especially even before Corona. And then now that COVID has hit. What do y'all think of the economic crisis and what's to come in real estate and where we are, where your business is? Because this is all the pivotal as we springboard into other things. Like, where do y'all feel the state of the economy is?
I honestly feel like nothing has nothing to do with anything. Everything is going up or down depending on what you're doing, depending on how much work you put into your business. Because even before any of these crashes or whatever, like they say, some millionaires are made during the crash. Some millionaires are not made during the crash. Some millionaires are made in the nice kind. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's about what work you're putting into it, how much, what you're going to sacrifice, the discipline you're going to have. What type of savings you're going to save up, what you're going to stop eating, what you're going to stop, what clubs you're going to stop going to. Like, what are you going to do to put yourself in a better position? So, honestly, that's just my personal opinion.
You know what that's
I
called?
feel like, what's that called?
Adaptation.
You mean like pivoting? Like pivoting? Yeah.
Adapting,
Yeah.
Because you have to adapt to the circumstances, So we're constantly evolving, things are ever changing. So you go through history. How many changes have erupted?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was one of the words of the month in 2020. So
Rain, sleet, hail, snow. We gonna close.
Yeah, that's
We
what I'm
gonna
saying.
close,
It doesn't matter.
we
We're
gonna close,
good.
we gonna
Oh,
close.
I like your shirt too today. I mean, this is
Appreciate
perfect.
it. Appreciate
Don't
it.
hope this
Don't
out.
hope this side. Thank you.
You've been coming through with the arrow.
So let me ask you this: in the midst of the pandemic and the economic changes, what did you decide to do?
I decided to go 10x harder. I decided to really capitalize. I thought I was going hard before. Now I figured out a new level now. So that's what I'm doing.
So it's almost like you let challenge be the obstacle, or it's a book that I saw. It's called The Obstacle is the Way. And it's almost like the obstacle leads you to where you need to lead into more.
So it's funny, I was actually just talking with my boy Jill about this because, you always have that person you kind of like just talk about anything with and no judgment zone. So I was like, yo, right now I'm in a game with myself right now. I'm trying to have my passive income. This is a week by week game. I want my passive income and my active income, right? I'm always at a goal. I'm trying to have my active income outdo my passive income. I've been on a consistent losing streak with that for a minute.
Let me ask you,
But I'm still trying though.
do you find it more challenging, or do you find that you push yourself harder when you're playing the game versus yourself than others?
When it's for myself, with other people involved, it's not gonna,
It's not gonna what?
It's
not gonna work out.
I'm gonna win.
yeah.
I'm gonna
So
win.
you think it's more of a challenge when you playing a game with
So
yourself?
when I set up this little thing that I'm doing now, having my passive income and active income thing I've been doing for like the past year, that's been very fun for me. So I find that very
Arrow versus arrow.
No, it's really what it is, and no matter what, Arrow's gonna win. So
Wait, what's your alter ego's name?
Huh?
What's your alter ego?
Oh no, so I was talking. So we got Errol and then we got Errol J. Allen. You distinctly know the difference between
Arrow
the two.
versus Arrow J. Allen.
So it's like Usher versus Raymond.
So
T.I. versus T.I.P.
Exactly. That's where I got that from. That's exactly where I got that from. Because I listened to T.I. all the time growing up in high school. So Errol.
Wait, you listened to T.I. growing up?
So that's what I'm gonna tell y'all. So Arrow's the guy that you guys see right now. Arrow Allen's the one that's willing and dealing, closing deals, and making stuff happen. Like I had a homeowner try to try something on me, and he met Arrow Allen.
So wait, expound. What did they try? What did they do?
Oh, so and because this deal's going real, this deal's still going active. So I don't want to spill too much beans, but
don't worry.
So long story short. I saved the homeowner from losing their property. They want to renege the deal. Not gonna happen.
So you mean like you paid their
foreclosure stuff?
Yeah, I know. The taxes. They was about to go to the tax sale.
So you paid it, and then they were like, "Okay, thanks. I want to keep my house now."
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's the one you took the picture down.
So how did you?
So I mean, we are already paperworked up, so that's not an issue. Have an affidavit done, list pendants done, so it's locked in. But when the conversation happened, and I don't even want to, because there's another person who's involved in the deal, and he said the monumental comment that set this whole thing off.
What do you say?
What he said?
Can't say.
I can say the comment. I just can't say name.
It might be a t-shirt. Come on.
So long story short,
Short story long. Let's go.
Short story long. Long story short. So we got on the phone, and it's the seller and the seller's sister, and we're going back and forth. And we're talking, like, again, I never had to take this phone call because they wanted to increase the price by like $20,000-$30,000. And I was just like, I have a contract. Like, what are you doing? So, anywho, we go through the phone call. I'm very eloquently and friendly explain to them how that doesn't make no sense. The example I gave was, Mr. Seller, if you go to, Mr. Seller, if you go to a car dealership and you see that nice new E-Class Mercedes that you wanted, you get that thing fresh off the lot, got that nice new car smell, got the interior peanut butter colored seats that you wanted, you got the keys, they say, here you go for $30,000, it's yours.
30?
Yep. So you take it off the lot, you drive it, you enjoying it, everything's going good, and then 2 weeks later you get a call from the finance department and they tell you, yeah, that car we sold you for 30, we want 50 for it now.
Right.
So we need you to come back and sign that new paperwork. How would that feel?
Catch me if you can.
What did they say?
So they got real ignorant and they got real like they didn't answer the question. They just got into, well, this is what I want because it's what I want. And so my partner, who brought me the lead, he was like, Mr. Seller, we wouldn't even be on this phone call in the first place had you paid your taxes. Oh!
No, he had it right. But that's the thing. He had it right to go at that level.
Because he was getting ignorant. So we had to set him. I wasn't going to say it, but he set him straight. And after that, he hung up the phone. So now we play a game now. We play in the game.
Don't let him get straight and straight.
So we play the game. So, he's going to try and do what he's going to do. We already do what we need to do, and I'm going to get a phone call sooner than later.
I mean, how do y'all handle that when y'all have the tough conversations and tough negotiations?
I feel like he handled it well, and the best part about what you said he had, because he didn't just pay somebody's taxes without having the documentation behind it to back him up just in case something goes south. Because sometimes there's people out there that's so hungry for a deal, and I'm like, yeah, I'll pay your taxes. Yeah, I'm gonna get this house for this amount. And then something like this happened, and they don't have no type of contracts. You said you had what, affidavit and a list pending. Yeah. Some people don't even know what that is, but you have to have those type of things to back you up. So I feel like having that, you don't really gotta say nothing. You can sit back and
hey, guess what I'm doing?
No conversation.
Hey, so I will tell you what list pendants means because I have to file one of those. 1 second.
Hold on, before you explain.
Drink to that, man.
Go on.
Oh, okay. So, list pendants is basically a lawsuit. So that protects you, the entity, as well as the person that you're filing against, if you're trying to protect them. However, you can't do anything once a list pendant is filed, because it's a clouded title. You can't sell the property, you can't do nothing without the other party. So, been there, done that.
So is this a technique for wholesalers?
Oh,
everybody buying a house should do this?
Only if it gets to that extent.
So don't file it like first thing.
No, that's not the first thing. Because it's not one of those things you just be like, I'm going to file those pendants, because it does cost. Okay, so you want to make sure.
But it's based on the circumstance.
It is based on the circumstance.
So
so if you have an issue, real issue is something that you want to file, that's a little bit stronger than a regular memorandum. That's what you would file.
Do you have an attorney that fills this out? You can fill it out. Who?
I have a few attorneys that I can contact.
No, but I'm saying, but like, other people,
for those that don't, you can go straight down to whatever courthouse or whatever area that you're in and file that right there.
Or you can have an attorney do it.
Or you can have an attorney do it for you. However, if you go to down like to whatever city that you're in, you just go in there, talk to everybody. I'll bring you some lunch. Talk to one of the little
build those relationships
and rapport. With everybody. So when you go down there, it's like, who do I go to? And they'll point you into the right direction.
Have y'all ever sucked up to somebody and then you come in the next day like it's somebody else there?
It wasn't even that.
They were just sitting in.
Like a courthouse or something?
I built a great relationship with this lady down at the courthouse.
She wasn't even know.
And it wasn't even like the right person.
Oh man, I got a friend. Prior to me and Sean, I had slipped my number to this what's it, investor? The tax owner. I should have said there's only 4 people that work there. So,
and 3 of them failed.
So I slipped my number. She's like, I was like, I got an investor. I'm good to now. Because investors, they got all the tax liens. So, man, never called. And then after we got together, one of our properties that needs to contact the investor, I was like, I'm not making that call. There's no way I'm doing that.
You're spitting good words.
Right. No.
Right.
Want some of this over? No.
Oh man.
I never had to I never sucked up to any of them, but I remember one time in Gwinnett County, I had to set them straight by these permits. Like I will say Gwinnett is much easier to deal with. Shout out to Gwinnett, that way, north. Gwinnett County, I was in there on the regular for like 2 weeks straight. So after you've been in some place for a while, they start knowing you. Now when I walk in, I don't know how it's going to be now, but after a while, when I walked in, they knew I meant business. And I was about what I was talking about, and I wasn't going to leave until I got what I wanted done. I wasn't taking no. Because sometimes these people in these county jobs, I don't know what the title is for everybody, but they don't know what they're talking about. They just know what somebody told them. So you can't take every single thing they say for truth. You have to make sure you do your own research and you learn what it is you're supposed to do, and then come back to them and say, no, that's not that's not how it's supposed to go, because that could have cost us another month or so getting a permit because somebody at the desk, at the front desk, or just because you got this title, I'm supposed to believe that what you're saying is true. No. I never believe anything what anybody says.
Like, show me and write
show
it.
me. Yeah, I have to try. Yeah, show me. I can't believe what you're saying because I don't believe you.
Yeah. That comes with experience.
Yeah.
You learn to figure that out the hard way.
Because I was like, have y'all ever had a mentor steer y'all wrong? Not knowingly, but just...
Steer? Hit the gas pedal.
But it's like a mentor.
Did he burn rubber?
He did a goat in the parking lot.
I would say some mentors may steer you in the direction that they wanted to go in, or they chose, and maybe that's not for you. So it could be the wrong direction for some people. Just to say that.
That was good.
Yeah, I had a mentor that unfortunately I knew. Like, he knew the right way, but he did a lot of gray and black area, like black area.
Not black.
And you have to
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, like, and you saw how dark them shades got. I literally, my mentor was guiding me through a project, and I literally had my contractor selling drugs out of my house. And when I addressed my mentor, he was just like,
I remember this.
Exactly, because I pulled up.
Not the contract.
Yeah. And I was like, you could at least cut me in on a bit. But
a house fee.
You're like, I didn't even know. Like, at least I couldn't know.
Because I pulled up, people scattering. I'm like, is this what I think it is? And I caught either you or somebody else. I was like, and she was like, it is what you think it is. And I remember calling my mentor, and they was like, I mean, it's just a little weed. I mean, they're from Jamaica. I'm like, wait.
They're from Jamaica.
Like, you a little too gray area for me, but it's just like you gotta know where to draw the line.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You do.
So basically, you want a wholesale fee from the wholesaler.
Well, I was flipping.
You wanted JV.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So what are some cash flow strategies that people are implementing, or what are we doing to create that separational income? What are we doing?
Strip club.
Strip club. Okay.
True story.
True story.
You can go.
Well, we're doing tours, so Airbnbs.
But not just regular Airbnb. I think you mentioned the thing earlier with the nurses.
The long.
I'm saying nurses. That's the only one I could think of at the top of my head that does travel. But it's all type of company people.
The other was like Crash Pad 401 with the is that still like with the airline?
Pilots.
Like the
not passport. You're talking about something else.
No, Crash Pad 401
for flight attendants.
Yeah, flight attendants.
Okay.
Yeah,
we didn't do that one, but I mean that's what we're getting into. I really don't like
movies and stuff like that.
movies. Yeah, we're focusing not on making movies, but holding.
Cast.
Gotcha.
No, not cast.
Renting
No, like
spaces
we're not
location.
Not even like but not even sets. Sets. Like it stays Stranger Things. They have to store their entire set somewhere. Storage units like that. So we're moving on to things like that. We got deals. Like we have a lot of different friends that we like to partner with. Because one of the things that I learned from this industry is to keep, building more relationships, partnering up with people, having that stream coming from everywhere. And if you can't do it, it's okay. Partner with somebody that can. So we're even looking into the club industry. As investors, not as like regular owners.
Not owner-operators.
Not owner-operators.
I don't know. Y'all too.
Like you said, passive versus active.
We don't go.
No, but that's the whole collaboration over competition type thing.
I'm there.
Yeah, a collab, and then we also are working on our show. Our personal show on TV.
Oh yeah, guys, we're gonna have a watch
party. We're having a watch party
Our
too.
first episode is up and live, so it's
So yeah, we believe in. I believe in multiple streams, and if anybody, sometimes some of my friends they used to make jokes about me because I had always had like multiple businesses, but I never cared because I'm like.
You got too many businesses.
So you said
so
something.
can you have too many businesses?
I was going to say you.
Yeah, because I was like, that's focus versus diversification. Where does that line?
But that's what I said about partnering up with somebody else that can run it. Like I'm not actually doing this. I'm partnering up with this person that.
But also our businesses tied into each other. You know, like
they supplement.
Yeah,
they got cars. Really,
like we have our exotic car rental thing, but that also allows us to buy cars for our tour business, so we can sell cars, we can rent cars out exotically, and that also helps us. We can purchase our trucks for our trucking company. So things do run. It's funny though, we originally got the car company just because we wanted to buy exotic cars for ourselves.
At the auction.
At the auction, we were trying to get a deal. So it was like, we're not going to go to the dealership and buy it. We got to go get our dealer's license and go get it ourselves.
But y'all have a dealer's license?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
What don't y'all do? You're a licensed real estate agent.
We did that during the pandemic.
That's why I've been calling you. Was like, you're in Alabama now. Oh yeah, okay.
But I didn't know you guys had the license, so.
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
And then
you heard that shit.
And if you don't, we got access. If you
Yeah.
don't, we got access.
Yeah.
So everything intertwines. Even hookahs. Mix them with doing a club, laundry parties.
A good thing I was gonna say, what we do, the reason why it ties in with everything is we meet. I believe in networking. I believe in meeting people no matter where you go. I always talk to strangers. That's what I do. So even when we having our hookah, when I'm at the hookah lounges at the clubs where we have our hookahs at, I meet people there. We get private parties. Like we do private parties for the people we know, people with money. These people may want to invest. When I start telling them what I really do, they're like, oh,
you really do
that? I'm like, yeah. And I start showing them stuff. Now they want to invest. Now we have a new investor. Or they may want to buy a house or sell a house. Like it's all about networking. So I say it can be too much if you are actually doing it by yourself. I would say take advantage of virtual assistants from Fiverr, Upworks. Those are my best friends. They basically run my company. The creditpreneurs, they run that, and they're doing a great job. And I feel like if people take advantage of what we have out there, virtual assistants that actually help you out, so now you can go and do something else and get something else rolling, like get some more money coming in.
So that's the who, not how, right?
Yeah,
who, not how.
Exactly.
That's
by
you
Dan Sullivan.
Yep.
So I'm so glad I wrote this down because you sparked a great question. So what do you consider a source of income? When does it become a source of income?
When you get money from it, right?
Is it? Because if you make $1 profit, I mean, you.
Well, anything that's profit, anything that's.
So it's a source of income once it makes $1.
If you put 50 cents in it,
once you've made
it's profiting you versus costing you. Because there's some things that you can invest in that are actually costing you, and you're not.
Yeah, you're not making nothing. So now you.
What's something that's costed you, but you didn't expect it to? Like it may cost you something else. Like, oh, great, it was this, but then it cost you something else.
And everything costs.
Man, that's everything.
Yeah, everything costs.
Of course, we
have
have
time, your money. You're gonna spend something that's out of you to invest into that.
So my thought process, because again, you say once it's profiting, and that can be anywhere from $100 to $1 million. But what if you got monthly bills that adds up to $3,000? Do you really consider that source of income if it can't?
Well, that's not profiting then. That's just gross. So
no, I'm saying so like the business.
I mean,
the business itself is making, we'll say, $1,000 net, but your living expenses is $3,000.
Right.
Do you consider that a source?
It's still a source of income. It's income that's coming into your bank account. It's income.
It's how you're using it.
It's just how you using it. You might have to change your life. Change your life, like for real.
You got some people right now that are like, well,
or change what you're doing with that business, because maybe whatever you're doing with that business is not working. I'm not saying get out of the business, but sit back and reflect and see what it is. Because whatever you're doing, you need to stop doing it and do something different so you can get more income.
So the question to the answer to that is very. It's too many layers, because yes, the $100 is profitable, but how many hours did you have to put into that?
Yeah,
to really
time.
Now, so are you taking away all your time away from you being able to make more money to pay that $3,000? If the $100 only cost you an hour worth of work, okay, great. Then to me that's extremely profitable. For a startup company, then you have time to do everything else. So it's.
So, what do you all consider it? I didn't hear it.
It's a fly in the window.
Oh, it's a fly.
Got scared.
So when do you consider your revenue stream an actual source of income?
What do I consider?
When? At what point?
When it's positive.
When it's positive? Okay, so when it's profit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, when I'm over whatever I put into it. So when it's positive.
Okay.
I mean, you have to think about a basic P&L statement, right? So when you have your assets and your liabilities, like on one side you have your profits, all your liabilities are your expenses. So if you're bringing in $10,000 a month, but then you have your overhead, so you got your rent, your utilities, your payroll, all those things. So if you're bringing in $10,000, but what you have paying out is $12,500, now you're in the red, $2,500.
But that doesn't always necessarily mean that that's a negative, because I love the game Cashflow. And it does have a deal in there where sometimes you're negative cash flow. But when one of the circumstances that you can pull can mean you triple, what you were set to make. Because
what's an example?
So for example, if what you make it as an investment, you mentioned once you get to the green, that's when you consider it income. But I read a report the other day where it was like Uber just became profitable. Where they invested a lot into their marketing dollars. Uber has been around for
but the thing
years and years now.
But they've been moving in a positive direction.
Right.
That's the thing. You can still.
But it was still negative and
it
not. It was still income.
I mean, it helped them grow.
And the influence grows because there are some things that are gonna be a sacrifice. Like I'm not gonna lie, there was a deal that I was expecting to be huge. The profits were gonna be six figures. Unfortunately, the way the contract was written, we got mixed in the deal and we walked away with nothing. But I was like, more than anything, this is going. I was thinking about how many different ways I can use it. I'm not making money on the bottom line, but how can I generate income on other elements, from the education, from other elements? How do I spin this into a win when it was ultimately a loss?
So I think with that question though, it depends on how you position it. Yeah. So are we talking about a startup company? Because if we start a business today, we might not get to the profitable position until 5 years from now. But if we're moving in an upward direction versus a steady decline, so it's like, where are you 5 years from now?
And it's always about planting those seeds. Like, the people that are in business and that are successful, they've planted seeds. They had to take a risk. They had to do something that everybody else wasn't doing. So when you talk about, profit and loss, everybody took a loss at first because we all had to invest something, whether it was time or money. So
I have to say, within a year time span, no bragging or anything like that, I've just been fortunate enough that all of my businesses in the first year have in the green. Until I did trucking. That thing bust my tail up that first 12 months.
13 days, 44 hours.
Oh my goodness. See, I went in too heavy though. Most people say, you start out straight, you buy one semi truck, you go.
How many trucks?
He brought four trucks
at one time.
Out the gate?
He brought 4 trucks.
I did the same thing with my luxury car business, so I feel you.
No, but
did it pan out?
Oh yeah, it's paying out. That's not an issue.
Was it trucks?
Yeah, trucks is a lot more to it. There's a lot more X factors to that one. I might not move long.
When I saw
you bought like new trucks, like closer to you.
If he would have brought brand new trucks, it probably wouldn't have been this. It wouldn't have been like this.
Yeah, brand new was like 2 days.
Because the maintenance.
Oldest truck is 1 year. So
the maintenance and then the driver.
Oh, so it's not like a house where you get it wholesale, you fix it up. Because I actually was just having this conversation where I was thinking maybe you can get at a discount. Because a friend of mine was looking at a truck and they were saying it literally had transmission issues. And I was like, oh, maybe I can buy it at a cheap enough price and fix it up like a house. So that's not the case?
No.
Not in our experience, no.
You'll get a lower price for it, but not too significant lower, but that's if you catch it.
Right.
Like you have to have your mechanics already set in play to be able to go really check those vehicles out. Yeah, the dealership may say only did an X amount point inspection when everything's good. You're okay. Yeah, okay. Put a glue here, put a gum here.
Right. Not glue and gum.
Like glue and gum.
Like what they did on Rocky? Y'all remember Rocky?
So, going back to it, because I'm really this is very interesting. I'm glad I asked this question because you guys are answering it in an interesting way. So, at what point do you consider a revenue stream an actual source of income?
At what point do I consider a revenue what?
A revenue stream. So, obviously something you're doing to generate profit becomes a source of income. Like you can say this is one of my 7 streams. Because you're not gonna say everything you do is a stream of income.
These two right here.
You want to come back?
I can't hear.
We don't want to say it on camera.
Not that.
So at what point do you consider a revenue stream an actual source of income?
Well,
I'm gonna say we got jokes. I like to laugh too. Like, what we talking about?
Damn, what I said that.
Can I answer it one
Yeah,
more
go ahead.
time while he's waiting? Because I feel like I answered the first time, then y'all hit me with the Uber thing and saying they're not really making a profit. Like what?
Until recently. It's my 8 years in.
Yeah, 8 years in. So yes, it had to still be an income for them because they were still paying all the bills. You're still paying all the bills. So because at first I'm like, this is not an income until I get over my profit. But then y'all brought up that, and then I remember this line. I think it was in as long as I think T.I. had a line when he was like, if Grand Hustle sell any, I'm gonna get plenty. So if Grand Hustle, which is his album, they sell any, he get plenty. So it's like, is that an income? If it's your company, if it does anything, then you do get all of it, because it's your stuff. Well, not all of it, but you get all of it to pay whatever bills that you can pay. So is that still like an income? That's still an income.
So look at it like this. Go ahead.
So let me just, because the reason I'm really digging on this is because you said if it makes a profit, then it's good. Well, I know a bunch of people right now who are network marketing, and they might have paid their startup fee of $100 or $300, and then they've hit a level and they got commission, and now they got back more than what they put in. But then the next 3 months they make nothing. Is that source of income?
Well, it was, but you know what it was? No, but they stopped doing whatever it is.
Oh no, the it's still working for it.
No,
but again, it's just not producing the result. Because
how can you get networking 100% you do crazy in 1 month? Because network marketing is all about getting somebody to sign up, right?
It's hard to have a general conversation because each scenario has to be dissected differently.
Okay,
right?
That's cool.
So, Jess, if you come to me and you say, "Hey, Mo, I've got $5 million to invest in this business, and in 10 years, I want to get back my $5 million plus this percent on the return," right? We shake hands. My first year, because to get the business started, your startup costs and things like that, what you have to invest in, but you take payroll into consideration. You have all these things that you have to take into consideration. So you're using that budget to fund these things. However, like Uber, are you actually creating a profit? Not right now, but now by the time, say maybe 5-6 years come or 4 years come, we're turning. But the thing is, we're getting in the hole to start out because guess what? We got to have these employees.
Yeah.
Right? We got to have all these things. We have to invest, and then we got to start getting a return on our investment. It might take us 8 years, or 8, that's a long time.
but sometimes the payout isn't the payout.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I had to realize, with the projects that I had access to and privy to, I'm expecting this is about to be the thing to set me free. And then it doesn't, but it creates something I didn't even expect.
Right.
That's part of the process.
But it's parlaying too, and understanding opportunity. Like, how do I parlay? Like, that's what I'm constantly looking at. What did I do right that worked? What did I do wrong that didn't? And what could I do differently moving forward? And I'm constantly doing an autopsy on my success and failures. Like, yes, this may not have added to the bottom line as a revenue, but it led to my credibility, which has investors looking to literally, I have investors from around the world reaching out now, and a global brand that we created. And it was like, I'm focusing on this, but this is what comes from it. And so the money may not be, when we bought our hotel, we're buying an underperforming asset. So we projected about a year's loss.
Right.
But what comes from the hotel, what other opportunities we're able to parlay into, that's the opportunity, that's the win. Because, yes, our hotel is starting to be profitable and we're starting to turn a tide. But that took time, that took sweat. But there were other things that we were able to parlay from just even the fusion of being in this space. We're able to talk to executives and CEOs from around the world about different ideas and things like that we didn't expect. So is this a revenue generator? I can stick hard to being like, I haven't gotten a paycheck yet, or until a certain time, or knowing the access that it created, and that creates even more income because I'm able to parlay that opportunity into success.
So I have another question that I want to spin off. I was hanging out with my business friends, and this was an argument we had the other day. Because I was defending the group, but when I really thought about it after I got ego out the way, I was like, being in the real estate investment space, and again, some of us do wholesaling, fix and flip, buying holds, buy a whole gambit. Do you really consider and call yourself a business owner?
Yeah.
Yes.
To answer your question, no.
Why do you say that?
Because you said being in the real estate space.
Do you consider yourself a business owner?
As me, if we're on the hat of real estate, I think I would call myself a business owner. I would call myself an investor. Because
now I'm going to ask, why do you say because when you think of a business owner, what does a business owner do and have? A business owner probably has a building, maintenance, overhead, employees to pay all these costs.
Yeah.
We come in, we have maybe a house that we're wholesaling, a house that we're fixing.
That's if you're working out of the house and you're working out of the.
I don't agree.
Because
that's what I'm saying.
From a business standpoint, you need a brick and mortar for business longevity. you also need employees. You need an overhead to pay these things
Says who?
to run that business.
To be considered a business, that's what you have to have?
No, that's not what he said.
Owner of the phrase. There's a certain context that goes into certain words that he's saying in the
Yeah.
So let's go one at a time. Let's hear it. Go ahead, Mo. What you got?
Come back to me.
I think it depends on what type of investor you are, because some of us are investors and then we actually do the contracting or we actually do the project management as well. So some people actually have companies that they contracted, they just build houses, they're general contractors. Some people have companies where they are project managers, but then there are some investors that don't do none of this. All they do is put their money in and sit back.
So passive versus
so
active
it's a different
investor.
type of thing. It's just,
I was gonna say let's identify that way we can have something to go against. So Robert Kiyosaki got the 4 quadrants, right?
Yeah.
E, S, B, and I, and all that stuff, right? Employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. So what you're talking about is investor. What I'm talking about is business owner. You have a structured team and all that other stuff that come.
and that's what I'm saying. It's so different. So it's some investors that it's just like it's some investors that we deal with. All they do is give us their money and they want the return. They don't do nothing else. It's some people that have companies, like let's just say Ground Floor, for instance. They have a company where all they do is take people's. I'm not saying they get people's money for investment, and they give it to us to build houses. So they have a company. They're not the actual investor, but they are in.
They're broker.
I said a broker for the. Yeah, so it's like it's different type of investor hats you can wear, and then there's people like us that use that money, and now hey, we're investing because now we have this money, we're investing in this property, and there's some people that just do it together. Some people have big companies, like y'all have the whole company. Me and Sion it's me and Sion, the John Benny Group. Mo, you have Young Star Enterprises.
And I'm a member of Everybody Eats.
And she's a member. So everybody have their different type of investments, but then I don't think any of us just sit back on any of our jobs, even though I don't think if anybody just to throw the money in and get out, because
that's active versus passive investor. That's how I qualify it. Where active investor are the teams that you generate your income by working with passive investors. Or you can be a passive investor yourself and invest in someone else that specializes. Because I feel like I wear both hats. Like if I wanted to get in trucking, I would invest in you guys. So I stay in real estate. If I want to get in Toro, I can put money in you. Who I'm the passive investor, investing in the active investor.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do hotels, that's something where you invest with me. I've created the company. I created a hedge fund, and that's what we do. We invest in, commercial assets. So I think one, it's where you file your taxes, really. That's the delineation. And then 2, like you said, the organizational structure. As an investor, you may just be putting your money towards something versus having the organizational structure and systems in place to replicate success.
Exactly.
Go ahead. Now I was going to say, so in my mind, you are your own business. However, the biggest difference between self-employed and small business is that self-employed individuals are the business. You are the business. Small business owners run their businesses, okay? So the owner of a business, for instance, may hire employees and essentially become the boss. An employee owner who operates and manages the business. Independent contractors, sole proprietors, or businesses and individuals join in a partnership are all self-employed persons. So the difference is self-employed persons versus business owners.
And that's why, thankfully, I had a client tell me, even when I was in working at CBS, I had a client tell me, she was like, create a business where you are not the product.
Right.
That you can, because she knew I love to travel. She was a pilot herself. She was like, you gonna be gone. I love to take mine. When I go to Africa, I go for 2 weeks. When I go to Dubai, I'm gone for 10 days. Like, I love to travel when I do. And it was just like, be in a business where it still operates even with my absence.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what I was big on.
The actual definition of a business owner is a term that refers to individuals who establish and operate an entity that is engaged in commercial, industrial, or professional activities with the purpose of deriving profits from its successful operations.
So the one thing I want everyone to hone in on was you said create an entity. So we cannot be the entity because then you fall into being self-employed. So I'm gonna let y'all know. I had y'all's back when I first had this conversation. I was like, "No, we are business owners and we are doing the thing." And I'm just like, "Wait a second," because I remember the business mastermind we went to. So I was having conversations with people over there. We're talking about buying and selling businesses. Well, how do you go about my business if I'm the whole
business
thing?
You're not buying me.
Yeah, you're not buying me.
Well,
You can't sell it.
what if you're an investor that you have assets, that you have a bunch of properties that's under your business and you can't sell that?
So I get what you're saying with that, but again, we created an entity. We created an entity, something that can be transferred, sold, bought. If you are the entity, then you're self-employed.
Right.
Wait, I'm lost.
No worries, I got you.
So he's basically saying, like, so if you start your LLC, that's an entity that you started.
Yes.
Right? But you're the owner of that entity. You're not the actual business of the entity. There's two different sides.
We'll talk about it off camera.
I don't get what y'all mean about like.
So pretty much, let's just say you're a lawyer, high-paid lawyer, right? And you're a one-man band. You got the whole thing. You're bringing 6 figures. Everything's going good. But once you stop working, bills got catch up. Income stops coming in.
That's what I'm confused. So if we stop working, the people still gonna pay their rent. Are they still
wait. So in this example, you are the only conduit of income. It's all on you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Once you stop
Think
working,
about the owners of Chick-fil-A or any.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the real estate business, like the rental properties. So that's why I'm not getting what y'all saying. Because I'm not really doing nothing but collecting checks. So if I'm saying, for instance, just if you talk about all the rental properties, so I'm not doing nothing. But I guess you have
that's
project
not
management.
even the rental properties. Unless you got a structure and something around it, that's not even a business if you think about it. You just have assets that are generating you income. But it's not an actual business model that you can sell on the business street per se for $3 million because there's no organization structure.
There's no type of
so
it's almost like a franchise model. Like you have to create. So it's a system that people buy.
Chick-fil-A was the best.
Yes. So really, with real estate, with this type of stuff that we're doing, it really don't go with it. Like it really don't go with it.
It can. You just have to.
It depends on how you look at it.
So.
Yeah, it's the business of being.
Think about a builder. A builder can build a neighborhood and 50 homes in under 60 days. Why can he do that? He's got organization, he's got teams, he's got checklists, he's got everything in place. That's an actual business model right there.
Exactly.
That can be bought. So he can say, you know what, I don't want to do this no more. And another builder can step in, buy him out, and run that.
Go through those.
Because I think it's more so about setting up systems and an organization that makes it, monetized versus you having to do everything. Yeah. Because the goal is, if I am gone for example, when I got COVID, for one, I guess being in the land, I thought I was invincible. When I got COVID, I was down, and it was one thing that, as much as I wanted to keep going and fight through it and work through it, and that's my personality, that was one thing in my whole life that took me out of my ass. Like, I was literally in the hospital, and I was thinking, oh, great, I can read a book, or you got IVs in your arm, you don't want to do anything but lay there and rest. And when I had to think about the elements of my business, and it was just like, wow, like, business is still going while I'm here, or what business suffered because I'm not. It was that balance of what systems were put in place. That was a joke to me for what more automation do I need?
Right.
Where were the holes in my business? Where did I lose during the time where I'm out for a month? Because mentally, even though I was out of the hospital, mentally it took me a second to get back
it takes
into
time.
business.
So when you get knocked down, and that's another thing, the word for the month of this month is come back. So when you're going to get knocked down throughout the trials of whatever the business is, it's about getting back in. So if you don't have any automation, like you just said, you don't have no automation that's not set up or nothing like that, you're in trouble because, again, how long did it take you to get back? Like, I
thought it was just going to be 2 weeks. Like, cool, I got it. 2 weeks. It took a whole month.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, though, like Errol said, is with businesses, they have business models. So they're set up to where, guess what? Yes, we have this business right now, but if I want to sell it today, everything is set up for somebody to come in and take over, but it's still going to be replicated the exact same way that it's currently operating. Mm-hmm. So you think about, like, in any franchise, Chick-fil-A, J.R. Crickets is another one. If you purchase if you become a J.R. Crickets franchise, they're going to do the training. Yeah. So because they want everything to actually be mirrored from location to location, so that you don't even know, okay, like, this is a franchise, because you're going to have consistency in the operation of the business.
You're not just buying a business, you're buying a system.
Yeah.
Right. So wholesaling can be a business.
Yeah. No, it
can be.
It is.
If you're set up that way.
It depends on how you set up, though.
I'm self-employed. What are y'all?
Well, I think some both. We got
Yeah, I was like,
different
that's
kind of
amazing.
business.
Yeah.
I always put on my Instagram, I got investor, and then I have business owner, and then I have crypto forex. Because and I didn't even realize I separated investor from business owner, because I looked at business like the business that we have, and investing our investor as the investor, and then crypto is just crypto. I'm just separating the three. When you just asked that question, I didn't realize I did that. So I guess I didn't look at investors as
Creditors, like you said, you have your VAs that are
Yeah, the
actually
creditors
basically running it, so you have it to where it's systematized and it's running it. You can kind of check in and check out.
Yeah,
But
and
you're not
it
doing
wasn't like that before I met him. He's the one that told me about it, because I was doing everything myself, thinking that I had to do, and I was burnt out. And when I started getting other people to do it for me and paying them, and they're happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy.
I look at it, I break it down between short term, mid-term, and long term. So in my short term, that's my education. That's my something I can teach people 3 to 5 steps of what to do to generate income, my masterminds or whatever. My midterm are my flips that I have going on, and other elements that come like once a quarter, once a year, or however. And then I have my long term, and that's the cash flow. That's the hotels, that's the Airbnbs, that's the short term rental properties. So I break it up into those 3 segments and make sure that I have at least a certain percentage be my cash flow, my rock. Then the cherry on top is the midterm, and then I just gotta pay my bills next week is the short term.
Yeah,
and that's how I break it up.
Yeah, I've been trying to get in on this cash short term business, but she won't let me go to the nightclub. So,
I mean, it's Atlanta. Where else? Like when I tell you I travel all over the world and nobody has nightlife like Atlanta.
oh yeah.
Like if you are going to do nightlife, I feel like this is the place.
because I just know what else.
You just
go
need to
with
be the
it.
investor.
And
That's
we-
all.
I was
we
offered
started-
to take over a valet servicing company, and they already got set contractors and popping club. I would have went in like boom, just train right behind for a few.
Those valet services be popping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but with that valet service, the person that was trying to hand it over actually be there throughout the entire night. So imagine, and this place don't close at 8 in the morning. So we're not about to be doing that. Like it's not worth it. It's other things we can do to make that type of income.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's
next.
crazy, That's
So-
But what were we gonna say?
Go ahead. So in all essence, I just look at it as each operation. So wholesaling, I would consider myself self-employed because I still have my hand in it. Flipping houses, I would also consider myself self-employed. Airbnbs, I'm a business owner and then cars, I'm a business owner and I'm not gonna go through everything, but those I would say that's how I look at it.
Because I mean, the main thing is, especially when you're used to getting a check every week or every other week from corporate, it's just like how, like you said, what are your payment structures? What does cash flow look like for entrepreneurs? Like people running businesses, people, like I'm eating what I kill. Like how do you set that up? Like I said, for me, it's diversification. I'm working on multiple things. It's not just one deal or one thing. Like you said, a lot of your friends, I had a lot of that pressure too. Like just you're a serial entrepreneur, you're always doing something else. But I'm like, when the pandemic happened, I had 3 or 4 other things to turn to, whereas this may have slowed down.
What's up? Oh, I just got something in my throat. Go ahead.
Got too excited.
I got because I had a great question, but
One thing great about when you are focused on multiple things that you have to do throughout the day and don't stress about that one thing that's either not happening exactly the way the way it's supposed to happen, is that the week all seems to go so much smoother, because if you get a no when you're expecting a yes, you just move to the back of the line because you have so many other things to continue doing. So if you're not like over stressing things and you get that no, now you're like, oh, you forget all the other 10 things that you had to work on. You're like, oh man, how do I turn this no into a yes? Mm-hmm. When you just start working on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, something's gonna click. You go right back to the thing and you're able to.
So you don't have to be overly dependent on one.
Overly dependent on one thing at all. Life is gonna circle itself back around, and just answer things quickly. All your as entrepreneurs, we're just problem solvers. But solve the problem right then, there. Like don't take forever. Once you start overthinking, then your fear comes back into it. You know, so just solve the problem.
Undersink.
So how do you separate from doing you're doing a lot of things versus shiny ball syndrome when you're like doing all these things that's not making anything happen? How do you like
shiny ball syndrome?
Yeah, like how do you differentiate between the two where it's like one, you're doing these things but it's working and growing because you can do those things, maybe because of his compliments, but the other hand, if you do too many things, shiny ball syndrome kicks in and nothing works and everything's going down.
I look at it like Steve Harvey, because I thankfully early on in my career admired Nick Cannon of the world, Steve Harvey, and other entrepreneurs that turned serial. And one of the things Steve Harvey, he was like, I got comedy down first. Comedy is what I did. Now I launch comedy into bacon, into a suit line, into the Hoodie Awards, into all of those elements that he segmented into by partnering with subject matter experts. But you still have that cornerstone, that one thing you do well. And that's what I tell people, like, I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I focus on one thing. I find different variations in real estate to create different venues on, but it still points back to real estate. It's still that cornerstone. Because like they say, nothing distracts an entrepreneur like another great idea. And I'm sure that's what you're talking about, the shiny ball syndrome, is that, I can make money being an appraiser. Oh, I can make money being an inspector. But you can make money where you water the grass and plant your seed. And that's what you have to be clear on, understanding the short term, mid-term, long term in that genre, but where can you focus on? And that's why I talk about reverse engineering to buy your time. Buy your time for 3 to 6 months, via wholesaling or whatever else. Now that allows you the time to put into a year. Now that I get my year's income made, how can I project into 3 to 5 years? The hotel is a long-term play. That's not a short-term thing that we're looking to get in and get out, like we would have flipped. That's that long-term play, but it took me doing wholesaling to buy my time for 3 to 6 months to plan how I was going to do a flip that took a year. Right. Now that I got that year, now I can buy up hotel assets that are 3 to 5 year plays.
And then, I love what you said about like taking advantage of and being good at one thing first, because a lot of times what we get into, we want our heads, like she said, every single thing, and you can't do everything and be good at everything. Like Arrow might be good at Airbnb. I'm not good at Airbnb. I'm gonna call Arrow and say, hey, Airbnb, Sion, same thing. I'm gonna call them for the things that they're good in and partner up with them individually. That way I can have multiple businesses, right? So, but yeah, again, be good at one thing.
Yeah.
So my final question, and I think I'm gonna question that for the night.
Now, you
yeah. It's that Aquarius.
This is impromptu. This is not scripted.
So, how do you guys, in terms of money management, let's say you get $100, how are you breaking up that $100?
I'm balling that.
No, really, we had to, I don't want to say learn the hard way, but me, I guess I can speak for both of us, I don't know, since I met Sion, since we've been together, it used to just be me, so all I knew was how to,
take care of me,
and it's my money. So when me and him got, together, and we got together fast and serious, really fast. So we was kind of like joined forces together, and we was balling out. We was having a lot of fun, and we noticed it, and we was like, all right, we got to get things, like we got to start putting this money here, making sure these accounts been here, putting for all our business, making sure everything was in that account for that business. This card is for this one, this credit is for this one. Like, just having everything lined up and making sure we putting this money in this account and having this pen, like making sure everything was together. Because at first I feel like both of us, I'm gonna speak for me, but I feel like I had only my money coming in. So now it's both of our monies, then monies from our businesses that's coming in, and it made us, I think because we joined together, I know for me, it made me get more, I don't want to say serious, I guess more focused in learning how to work money and making money work, making the money that we do make us some more money from something else, or taking this part at 100 and putting 50 over there, 25 over here, another 25 for this, like making sure we know what we doing with our money.
It's just like a lens. You had to adjust the focus on the lens because now it's not just you, it's you and someone else.
Yeah.
So,
I had to adjust my focus as well. I was just balling out of control, and I got a wife, and I couldn't do that anymore. So now it's like, all right, so 60% got to go here, and 30% here, and 10% here. You know what I'm saying? So that's how my business is structured. From $100, 60% gonna go towards this, 30% gonna go towards this, and 10%.
What is this? Like, what's the 60%, 30%, 10%?
20% also go to pocket. 80%, I'll let her figure it out.
Oh, that's how you do it. I can't do it that way. 60% goes to 60%. Yeah, I can't do that. 60% goes to the household. Whatever that we're gonna do together, that's within the household.
Yep.
The 30% is like travel expenses.
Okay.
And then the 10% is of course tax.
Okay. Tax. All right.
What about you?
Oh man. So I was gonna ask another question to follow up with this, but I guess I'll answer it, then I'll ask it. So I base my finances off of Richest Man Babylon. So 55% goes to necessities, 10% goes to education, 10% goes to tithes, 10% goes to never touch account, and the remaining 5% is fun money.
But you got a lot of fun money. That's flying everywhere.
I mean, it adds up when it comes from multiple areas, so that's why I do, move a little bit.
30%.
well, I put 30% aside. It's just me and my dog. As far as my overall household, I'm not married. You know what I mean? So for me, it's always been, and prior to having a dog, I have to now factor in daycare expenses, things like that. But whatever comes in, I always take taxes into consideration. You just really made me feel bad because you just said tithes. You factored that into your breakdown. But I know that's good. But I do 30% of taxes, and then the rest goes to my bills, and I give myself an allowance. After my allowance, that's it. You make it work.
So any books that you guys read that shaped how you have your financial habits and behaviors?
Yeah, quite a few books.
I mean, what's the one book that was this is the one that helped me with my money management?
Well, definitely Rich Man Babylon. I love how he broke that down.
Yeah.
That whole story was dope. And Wallace book, what's the name of that one?
The Secret again.
On the Science Again.
The Science Again.
Okay.
Just how. Yeah, Science Again Rich.
All right, cool. Science Again Rich. Any books that?
My daddy.
No, that's good. Well, that's good.
No, my dad is he was a finance manager for General Motors, and when it comes to just structure with money, my dad was consistent. Literally every day, he and my mom, they're balancing checkbook. He starts his day out going in the basement and literally counting everything that's went out the day before, documenting it. But he always told me exactly. My parents, they both did, always told me exactly what to do with it. And no matter what, if you get $100, my mom said you take at least $20 of that $100 and you put it aside and don't touch it.
So, I'm not gonna lie, I take a lot of risk. I mean, when you initially asked, honestly, the first thing that came to mind and what's real life, I risk 100%. I'm that person in Vegas who bets it all, and I put my all into the investments. Between education, between taking the risk. And I'm, thankfully I have a husband that holds me down and that holds me back because I'm 100% honestly, the money that I have liquid is going to growing. Yeah. I'm in that phase now where I realize I'm 34 years old and, we're in that time of compound interest because I used to contribute more to my retirement funds in my 20s. But now in the 30s, I was honestly, I feel like I can grow that fund much further. So I've just been really aggressive about that. And I do need to be more responsible and maybe, put aside in other ways.
But you may not need to be either.
Yeah.
Because it depends on what your belief is. I was going to go back to when you said the books. There's a book I've been reading, The Secret of a Millionaire's Mindset, something like that. And one of the things that he mentioned in there is about, people be saying, save money for a rainy day. If you save money for a rainy day, that rainy day is probably going to happen. But if you're not focusing, because we don't, how y'all saying y'all put 30%, I make sure bills are paid. But we're not really putting too much stuff 30% saving. I only giving myself 20 out of 100. Because I think Sion and I have this investing mindset. Like I believe, like how you said, I don't want to just let this sit over here. I can grow that with this, and that's gonna flip that and turn into this. And I just believe, but it's just your personal. I feel like it's whatever you believe in, because whatever you believe is what's going to happen. So, yeah. And if you,
I got so many comments. Oh my god.
I mean, that's just what I.
No, not for that. I'm just saying, like, you guys give me some thought.
That's what I. But the way that I answer it, when I get it, that's what I do with it. And I tap into it and go and if an opportunity comes up, yeah.
But then that's a discussion. So for me in my household, mine is the book, the wife. She handles the finances. That's her lane. Like that's what she's strong at. That's what she's good at. So again, like if I'm going to invest with you in Airbnb, I'm going to go to the person that's good at Airbnb. And my wife, that's her lane, finance and accounting. So that's what we got degrees in. We fully invested in that in college education. So we're gonna make sure we invest in real life. So she knows how to break that down.
So one thing that you said that, and it's funny too, because my mom actually is a finance major. She was a treasury for the state of Massachusetts, but I hit her up for no financial management advice, which is crazy. I'm like tripping on that.
She watches this.
Mom, me and Mom good. We do business together. We good. But yeah, the other thing was looking at your bank account every day. I picked up that habit last year. Just 5 minutes.
Every day.
That was a life-changing day.
That was a life-changing. It's motivating. It's motivating for one, and then to know that nobody's like hacked your account. I've been looking for all of that.
I got notifications for everything. I'm like, what?
But I'll say this too because, like, I just had a conversation the other day, and it's just like, okay, if we have, I'm not married, but I have.
Yeah, you keep saying
we
and somebody
else. Watch it. Y'all think I'm talking to my dog? Hey, Cash. But no, the thing is, but to go back to what Justin said. So look, girl, when the money comes in, right, that $100. So you put 30% into an account, right? Because that's what you put aside for taxes.
Yep.
But guess what? It's not tax season yet. So what are we gonna do?
I mean,
we need to go put Earnest money down. We got to go put Earnest money down on the next new construction build. Where is that coming from? If we're about to go do this and do that, because as long as we're making the money to have what we need to come tax season, but as long as the money is in position to continue to make money. Now we're not just going to the mall and saying, what you told people?
Yeah, liability.
Run it. We're not going to the mall and saying, run it. But like you said, you're taking calculated risks. That's part of what we do.
But sometimes you can't go to the mall and say run, because sometimes the way you dress, the shoes you wear, the things you get done, that can attract more people.
Oh, no. So, John, that meeting we had the other day, you can go to the mall and say run it on this card, but then you go to this other store and return it on this card, you use that to pay the other card.
Don't worry about it. I know what you're talking about. That's a smart play. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother conversation.
Well, I think what's that?
We gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. But
we do need to reel it in. It is that time for I Ain't Gonna Lie, and we gotta make this brief because the discussion just is endless.
Oh man, Errol running the show right now.
Hey, she is right there on the inspirations, right there.
I just ask questions.
You got the right shirt on, boy.
Hey, don't hold it aside. That's what you do. When you get your money, what do? I don't hope I decide.
But let's real quick. We got the segment of I Ain't Gonna Lie. This has been an amazing conversation, and I definitely want to keep it going. So be sure to tune into our next episodes, because the nuggets that we drop, the information, all things entrepreneur. If you ain't building your business from the tips and the gems that we drop, what are you doing? So the question, Errol, you want to get started?
Come back to me, because I want to give a good answer. Sam, take it first.
Well, would you rather be given $10 million at one time or earn $2 million at one time?
Given $10 million.
Earn $2 million. Being at the age that I am right now, the knowledge that I have right now.
Give it to me.
Give me that $10 million.
Give it to me.
And I'll finagle and earn that.
Well, you know what? I do have both.
Oh,
Now.
if you got both, you good.
No, they both have different positives. However, Android, you're not limited.
Yeah.
You know, my Android is a Samsung, so the Samsung camera is great, and Samsung always is the innovative party to introduce something, and then other companies will come right behind them with something that's going to be competitive in the market that they're
Throw on a
in.
Samsung sponsorship.
This episode is sponsored by.
Right.
So, however, you know, there are some things that I definitely do like about iPhone. You know, so when you share files, video quality, if you're sharing outside of, you know, when somebody from an iPhone sends me a video on my Android, you got to do it via WhatsApp.
That's how I have to do it because they don't like each other.
And the best thing is like the airdrop. I was like, like I remember my first airdrop. Like I got all these pictures and video just like there. I was like, you know. So, but I'm team Android all the way, baby.
Okay, this says, what's one investment you made that you wish you doubled down on?
Just recently.
Right.
I was gonna go back to crypto and say the Shiba. I didn't
I was
actually
gonna
buy
say
it. I didn't actually buy it. Sion brought it, so I'll go back to my first investment that actually made me money, which was ATL hookahs. I wish that, like knowing what I know now, when I first started that company, I really did not know anything about business at all. I was just a little hood chick from College Park, like, you know,
College Park.
Like, I was just coming out of being really hood, like just growing into myself actually. So I really didn't know that much. I had no education. And for me, no education on business. I had a lot of education, but just not on business. But I didn't know. If I would have knew what I knew now, I could have double, triple this because I had a lot of money at that time. And I was so young, so I would have did things way different and double down because I probably would have had so many lounges. I probably would have had so much stuff going on.
In the nightlife, which...
In the nightlife.
I
was 25 years old. So.
Valet parking services.
Right.
Yeah. That was back in 7 years ago. I grew a lot. So yeah, I would have invested a double down in that.
Okay.
I ain't even gonna lie.
Man, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, man, because, you know, me and Mo had this conversation all the time. PC or Mac? I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I'm going PC all day long because Mac be complicated. You gotta, like, they say it's user friendly. No, it's not. You know, PC you can really figure it out. Mac you be trying to. It's just
you're limited.
I agree. And
you're limited.
And I'm iPhone.
Apple
that MacBook, I'll be like Safari. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I ain't even gonna
Apple
lie.
makes it to where you're gonna need Apple.
It does.
That's the thing.
You're gonna need it.
And Linda said the other day, I saw this dude walking in the parking lot. He had the monitor this big. You come into the mall with the big ass monitor like this because you got to go to Apple.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what's wrong.
I'm not trying to go.
That's
to
ridiculous.
No, seriously, it was like
right, Geek Squad.
Geek Squad.
I promise you, it was like a 40-inch. I promise you, no lie.
So my question is, how long did it take for you to find success? I ain't gonna lie, I'm still chasing.
There you go.
Like, because I realized success is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
And I used to feel like it was about. And I used to feel like it was about getting to a certain point. Like when I found myself working.
Don't worry about it.
When I found myself working at the Nick Cannon morning show in New York at CBS at 22 years old, on paper that was success, but there was no fulfillment. There was celebrity after celebrity. I connected with Bruno Mars. I connected with you talk about Lady Gaga, like Katy Perry, working at a premier radio station in New York. So we seen celebrity after celebrity. And I realized, like, the 2 seconds they were there, I wish I had the grind I had now. I wish I had the entrepreneurship prowess. I would have turned it into something. But at the time I didn't. So it was just like, it took me a while to find what that essence is. And now I get more enjoyment out of creating memorable, magical moments with people around me than I ever did working at CBS and on Celebrity.
Can you repeat that about the t-shirt again? What you say for the t-shirt?
Success.
Memorable, magical moments. What is it?
Success is a journey, not a destination.
Oh yeah, success is a journey, not a destination. Because I used to be so fixated on the journey that at 22 I'm finding myself at CBS, and it was just like the journey didn't get me to
the point that you made and the point that Shauna made. It's all about experience and timing.
Yeah.
So at those particular moments in your lives, that's just where you were.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant for you to have what you have now because you had to go through what you went through and have gone through and are still destined to go through. Because we have the same conversation 5 years from now. What are you gonna say?
I would have tripled down. If I knew what I knew now.
That's good.
That's the
thing is
beauty.
you guys are paying attention to your journey. And some people get through life and it's just like you don't even hear them saying, oh man, if I would have known then what I know now, or what they would have done differently. It's just like, oh, it's not fair, or it's not, you know what I mean? What are you doing?
Go, Eric. I haven't thought about it.
So, this was the perfect question because I really couldn't give myself an answer. My brain wouldn't give me an answer to this. Name a failure that changed your life.
Well, I've
Well,
never
failures have lessons, so I mean, I just.
But what's the lesson that you feel that changed your life most?
What's the lesson I feel that changed my life most?
Like I created systems because of this. I created.
That whooping my daddy gave me.
And whoopings.
Whoopings, yeah, whoopings.
Oh no, I got a slap across the face and it was a ring finger. And just like,
that's it.
I caught the wrong one.
That's it.
I'm about to say, my brother got whooped upside down.
Oh, I got one of those before. Hey, I was at a gas station, man. Outside. Hands down, everything. Yeah. Shout out to mom.
But yeah,
hey, you know you gonna get the whooping, you ain't never gonna forget that whooping.
Yeah.
Still to this day. Shout out to mom.
That wasn't even me. I remember because I was like, God. Okay.
Well, alright, we talking. I was about to go on about another whooping. I was gonna say.
I got stories on whoopings. Oh my God.
Oh, I got one every day. If I didn't get one, they're like, all right, something not right.
Nah, see,
I got whooping because I didn't do nothing wrong that day. Like, I get a whooping every day. All right, something not right. You do something every day, I got whooped for that.
So, it's not even, so I did get whoopings, but obviously when you're getting whooped, you can't remember like my brother, this one, oh my goodness, I felt so bad for him. We was in a narrow hallway. He called my dad a jerk one time. My dad literally 360 turned around, slapped him so hard, his face hit the wall. And then my dad walked off like it was nothing. I was like,
in no way
And the
do we
lesson
promote.
Right.
Spare the rod, raise the child. Forget that. That's what's wrong with these kids today. They in school because they know their parents gonna come up there and have their back. My mama got called to the school. She said, I bet not even get a phone. I don't care what you did or didn't do. I bet not get a call from the school again because I shouldn't be having to get a call from the school. So whether I did it or I didn't, I just.
we were talking about this.
I was really.
I didn't get a whole bunch, but I got
one.
Yeah, I was good. I was a sweetheart. I didn't get too many. So when I did get a whipping, it was really, really sad. Everybody was sad.
Were you the only child?
No, my sister. I have a sister, two brothers. But my sister had a smart mouth. I was nobody would think I would do anything because I really didn't do nothing.
So you got the exact same dynamic that I got.
Yeah.
I'm you, and my brother is your sister.
Yeah.
Hey.
My sister would have been the one that said jerk to my mom. I would have came back. Why don't you just be quiet?
Oh.
Like, why don't you just be quiet? I don't get it. Like, just be quiet.
Well, the worst thing you can do for me is, since we talking about whooping. My dad was a 3rd-degree black belt. He just say, crazy.
Chopping the
No, chop, kick.
Judo kick, yeah.
Sound effects.
Right.
So, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, all right, name a lesson that changed your life. Name a lesson that changed your life.
You have to have some.
I mean, I do. I don't know why my mind
But
doesn't.
that's how you got you're so detailed and you have your systems and you have, so you had to go through some lessons to form all that. And
I had that before anything. I was doing that before then. Yeah. So
It's like I've been dope.
I woke up like this.
Yeah, that was before.
I woke up like
that was before.
Like that's why I retired from
Everything.
college because I was sitting there like I'm smarter than this.
So you
Right.
just automatically knew
Since
how
high
to
school.
run these. You never went through any type
But
of.
he's military,
I mean, you
so
had,
his
no, I'm
dad
talking
probably.
about lessons like just for instance, you had to have a lesson or you just read a book that you know you had to have these things
I read so
set
many
in place. So that's the lesson then.
Okay, so reading my books, I mean,
Your
it's nothing concrete per se. Like,
he's well prepared.
I'm over prepared.
And you well prepared because your parents or your
Right,
parents.
right.
What point in your life though did you realize it though? Like,
That I was over prepared.
No. That you were like when did you become focused?
Focused? 17.
What happened? When
I was exposed to some internet marketers that were killing it, crush. Okay, there you go. So listen.
Yeah.
So I saw that there was people doing it at a level I want to do it, and I didn't think that was possible because I thought you had to go through the system per se. So I got obsessive with watching that stuff.
So that was your aha moment.
Exactly, and then my whole life pivoted. So by the time I got my freshman year in college, I'm already like, this isn't even the move. Like,
Right.
Y'all trying 40K a year was good. So not saying 40K a year is not good.
Depending on what
Just-
you want to do, yeah.
just-
If
right.
it could be a
Yeah,
business, some people
You know
do.
what? I want to have a real honest moment right now
Uh-oh.
because everybody's talking about like what
Ah,
books.
shit.
Like I start books. I finished one book that I can think of, and it was very small. And it was about like
audiobooks, you can have conversations like these. It's how you consume content, how you retain it. So at one point in time, I thought if you didn't read enough books, you're not going to be successful.
That's not true.
No, it's if you don't get the information, retain it, then you're not
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah,
successful.
you can read. There's so many people that read books that don't understand what they're doing after
Like,
they read
what's
books.
his face? What's
Right.
Gary Vaynerchuk. He don't read books, but he knows how to retain information.
Right.
So you get
We need to have that need to be a discussion one night. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
we're gonna circle back around.
How many?
Yeah, because I'm like, we created so many topics. It's an endless dialogue.
Right.
But I definitely want to bring it back home. I mean, we discussed a lot of gems today. And that's why I tell people, you know what? Go out, subscribe, listen to more episodes, understand what we're doing. Because you're getting to the mind of genius. You're understanding not just what we do, but how we do and why we do. And that's what's going to help you, which is why we created a platform, All Things Entrepreneur. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of All Things Entrepreneur. You just got a team. Tell them how to find you. Hit me up on Instagram at It's Jessica Myers.
I am Superstar Shauna with
DC on John.
and together we are Flippin' Love.
You can follow me on Instagram at mohustle_810.
You can follow me at The Real Grind Guy on Instagram.
You can find me on all social media outlets at LJ Allen.
Be sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel at 8.experience.
They was all skipping class. You graduated to a boss and they didn't pass. Ain't no such thing as losses, only lessons. Break bread, don't block your blessings. Get the money, but you know what's even more precious? Time. Nah, don't talk about it, go do it.